Awesome. Again, welcome everyone to the final and very last college transition series episode where we talk all things orientation. My name is Mahara Suhail. I am the senior admission counselor here at Elmhurst University, and join with me, I have a very special guest that I'll introduce in a little bit. But again, thank you so much to everyone who's joining us today and who's joined me throughout this entire summer in the whole college transition series. I know we've had a lot of different episodes talking about mental health, about financial needs, in terms of paying for loans and your tuition. We talked about how to pack and how to move in last week with Kevin. And today is the final episode, and it's going to be with our beautiful guest, where we're going to be talking about all things orientation. And then I also want to quickly add, please feel free to ask any questions you have and enter them in the chat box, because in the end we'll do a mini Q&A and go through anything you guys have, any questions about orientation, and we'll do the best we can to answer them. But without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce our wonderful, amazing Assistant Director of the Niebuhr Center, Sam Miggets.
Hi, everybody. Very good to be here. Thank you so much, Mahara. My role on campus is to primarily work with the orientation program. I do a lot of other things that you may see through the summer getting here, or even throughout your first year here on campus, whether you're a first year student or a new transfer student. Just making sure that, like, when you come to campus after you've been handed off to us from the amazing admissions folks, we do what we can to make sure that, like, you continue to make Elmhurst your home and you continue to feel like this is your place to be and you want to excel here. So my area really thrives on making sure that you connect to pieces here, the resources that you have. A lot of the things outside of the classroom are some of what my area really focuses on. So with that, today I'm going to talk about new student orientation. It's a huge event coming up in exactly 2 weeks from today, so we're really excited about it. I'm going to go through what that is, what that looks like for you all. And like Mahara said, if you have any questions about orientation or something else, please feel free to put it in the chat and I'll try to make sure that I answer any question that I can. Otherwise, I know between her and I, we can find the right answer for you. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So what is new student orientation? Orientation is a 4-day, trying to change my slide here at the same time, a 4-day program where you are going to, if you're a first year student, you're going to be partnered up with people in your FYS class or your first year seminar group. And if you're a transfer student, you're going to be put in groups with other transfer groups. Or transfer students rather. And so we take you through 4 days of really getting to know each other. We also talk a lot about, what are your values? What's important to you? How does that line up with the school? We dive into, diversity and team building. We take you on a couple off-campus trips. And we just do a lot of stuff that really kind of pushes you out of your comfort zone, because I think in some ways it's safe to say that's kind of what Elmhurst is about too, right? Like, we want you to be the best person you can be, and we're not going to wait until you're a sophomore or junior to do that. Or if you're a transfer student, we're not going to wait until you've been here a year or two, right? We're going to immediately do that from the moment that you're on campus. So in a nutshell, the orientation program, where you may see, or you may hear if you have friends at other places, a lot of orientation programs focus on, like, this is how you do this, and this is where you go for this, and this is where your classes are. Ours is a lot more built in community building and connection, probably more than anything else. So I touched on this a little bit, but some of the things that we will be doing, we start off on Wednesday, August 24th, with a big family welcome, a nice, really big lunch. Your families are more than welcome to come. We encourage them to be there that day. Families stay until about 2:45. Otherwise, focusing on you specifically, things that we're going to be doing is you have a convocation where you get to meet a little bit with faculty and just see them in kind of a more formal setting. We also have 2 wonderful guest speakers. The middle picture is Reverend Dr. Jamie Washington talking about the importance of community building and what your community actually is here on campus. Then the individual on the far right is Kevin Wanzer, and he is a very, very funny spokesperson that we've had coming for a number of years, talking about the importance of community in a sense, but also just like kindness and choosing to love one another and doing that in a really funny way that we really appreciate. And then a couple other things that will be happening during orientation. We take you to a Go Ape Treetop Adventure course. We also go to another place called The Forge, which is another zip lining adventure course. And so at either of those places, you are going to zip line through the trees and over different spaces. And so if any of you just thought right now, like, oh my goodness, I don't like heights, that's fine. Like there's things that you can do. And the idea is to push yourself to see, like, I don't like heights, but I'm going to still try to do this because my group's trying to help me do it too. And like, I'm not alone and we can do it together. So that's a super, super fun part of our orientation program where everybody gets to kind of climb in the trees and zip line and try something cool and new. Then we also go to Feed My Starving Children. Service is a huge component of Elmhurst University. And so we definitely want you to know that from day one, like giving back to our community and being a part of the community is huge to us. So we go there. And then we do things like College 101 skits where we have our orientation leaders, act out different things you may see. We do activities in a classroom with your orientation leaders where you're going to, like I said before, learn about values, learn a little bit about how to use technology here, learn, these different couple things to make sure that when you start school on your first day, that Monday, August 29th, then you feel completely prepared. Or if you don't know all the answers that first day, you know who to go to get them. And that's our biggest piece of it. I kind of grazed through it, so I want to kind of go back really quick. An orientation student leader is who will be leading each of your groups, whether you are a first year or a transfer student. And so this is a sophomore through a senior, could be anybody in any of those areas, who's gone through a week-long training with me, and they know exactly the kind of spot that you're in. They know whether you were, if you're scared or if you're learning things or whatever else, like they were in your shoe to some degree. And so they take you through this orientation program that they as well have also gone through too. So it's a really nice peer-to-peer mentorship thing that I'm pretty proud of. And I might be biased here. They're some of the best students that I could possibly imagine working with. They're fun, they're energetic, they are the epitome of just like, if everybody's doing something silly, then it's not silly anymore. It's actually kind of fun. So I hope you really get to enjoy them and you will get to meet them. So in a nutshell, that's kind of what you will do over those 4 days. We do have programming literally going from most days from like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning until 9 or something at night. They are long days. A question that I have gotten asked a couple times is, we have a huge commuter population, totally recognize that. We would love for you to be at everything. We do say that orientation is mandatory. But we also recognize that like, if you're a commuter, like being here until 9 or 10 o'clock isn't always necessarily realistic to you. All we ask is that you stay as long as you can every day and you communicate those changes with your orientation student leader. So we do ask that students come all day, every day. And we have seen that the more you're involved in orientation, the better success you have at the campus and the more connected you feel to the campus, especially right away. But we're also human. We understand that, things come up or whatever else. So we just ask that you communicate that with your orientation student leader when you meet them on the 24th. So continuing, also like, what about your parents and your families? They're going to come, they want to celebrate you too. So we have a couple activities for the parents and families on Wednesday, August 24th, until about 2:45 p.m. After that time, we have to kind of tell parents like, okay, it's, you guys are going to head out for a little bit. We're going to take your student on this journey with them. So for parents and families, we have a parent and family welcome where we have a bunch of different administrators from the campus, including the president, his cabinet, and a handful of directors that will be there just to kind of chat with them. And maybe there's things that parents would like to learn about through the administration side and have those one-on-one conversations. Otherwise, they're also welcome to come to, please ask them to help you move in, have them come to the welcome lunch, have them come to check in, the family welcome, like all those things are built around making sure that everybody feels included between those two, between that time frame for both groups, basically. So we invite your parents to come by. We have photo booths and other things to celebrate it because it's a big day for everybody. And so we want to make sure that you are there and that your families are there to celebrate you too. So a little bit of advice that I'd love to give really quick, really is learn from the leaders. So this is last year's orientation student leader team. Like I said, they range from now from sophomores to seniors. they've been in your shoes. Ask them the questions, and honestly, I would ask them the questions that you may not really want to ask Maher or myself, like, where do I do these things, or where do I get this stuff, and how do I prep for school? And maybe you really just want to learn from another Elmhurst student. They're the people that can tell you that kind of thing. They're gonna guide you around, like, down the street is Oakbrook Mall or the Yorktown Mall and different pieces. They're gonna really be able to tell you the support that you need. And I promise you, if they don't know the answer, they know to ask me, and then we figure it out too. So they're a really good group of students who are really just excited to meet you and get involved and help you along your journey. I can't tell you how many of my current OSLs have told me that, like, they became an OSL because of their own, and that they stayed connected to their OSL all throughout the time that they were in college too. So this is a really cool time to make connections, with I'm going to say upperclassmen, but not necessarily, just somebody else that's kind of gone through the ropes here and that you really want to learn how to learn to know and kind of get connected with. They'll be your friend, they'll help you through it. And I can promise you that they won't steer you wrong. So definitely learn from them and learn about their experiences. And then the last thing I want to show you, I put up the schedule of the orientation program. This is available on the website. You can go to elmhurst.edu/orientation, and this is a PDF posted on there. And as you can kind of quickly see, we say, like, how long families are invited to stay with us on campus. And then we kind of just put out the different activities that you'll be doing. There is no good way for me to tell you exactly what you're going to be doing each time, because everybody's on a different schedule rotating through these activities, but this is generally what will be covered each day. And then we also like to point out that there are religious services offered through our chaplain's office that you are always welcome to attend and go to. And you can always tell your OSL, like, hey, I know that this service is coming up. It's something I'd really feel like it's important for me to go to. And then you're more than welcome to go to that. So again, this is an overview of our schedule. Everything's going to be in person. Everything is on campus. You don't need any extra money of anything. We provide transportation anywhere else off campus. And so just basic stuff to kind of bring, like, you're going to either, if you're living on campus, probably the stuff that you already have. I'd make sure you have some comfy clothes for sure. Otherwise, if you're commuting, kind of the same thing, make sure you've got some comfy clothes or a change of clothes if you really want. But honestly, the biggest thing I could tell you is just to come with an open mind. And I can't stress enough that, this is the time where, whether you are coming from high school or another college, you kind of get a fresh start here. And so you can choose to make that fresh start. And this is a really great way to kind of start off with that. So I'll just leave this up here, and then Maher, we can go through if there's any questions. This is my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me. I'm about to go into the thick of orientation training and then orientation. So I promise I check my email and I'll get back. I just ask for a little grace from the speed in which, but I'm usually pretty good. But I'm really excited to meet all of you. And I'm located in the Frick Center when you get here, right behind the Spirit Shop, if you haven't seen it yet. So I'm definitely happy to answer any questions and just kind of be a resource to you to kind of tell you how to navigate college and school like that. So Thank you very much.
Yay. Thank you so much, Sam, for that awesome, mini presentation about orientation. I mean, I don't know about any of the guests here, but I'm excited right now. As a staff member, I'm going to be sneaking through and checking it all out. I mean, you guys are in for a really good treat, everyone. I've seen it for 3 years already, and you guys are in such great hands. Sam gets such a wonderful job creating such a safe environment for you guys to make sure you feel comfortable in your first steps to college. And you're going to be surrounded by also so many other first incoming students. So make friends, get out of your comfort zone. Comfort is the biggest enemy of progress. So really allow yourself to have fun. But at this time, for the next 15 minutes or so, I really want you guys to enter any questions you have about orientation, right? And any questions about, what to bring or what to expect or what the schedule will look like. Sam and I will do our best to answer, but please go ahead. Again, I want to use these next 15 minutes to hear you guys and any questions you have. And Sam, if you want, maybe we can go back to the schedule real quick too, just so people have that as reference. But yeah, please go ahead and everyone enter your questions in the chat box and I'll kind of moderate them and we'll go through them. Awesome. We already have one in. Cody asked, are the team building activities during are there any team building activities during orientation?
I would say almost all of them are team building to some degree. I think even the Go Ape adventure course, like that is team building in itself, where yeah, it's kind of about you and how you're, climbing through the trees and stuff like that. But utilizing other people and encouraging other people or them encouraging you is team building in itself. The OSLs do a ton of icebreakers as well, just to kind of just fun, silly games that, help you meet other people. So there's a lot of team building there. And then I think ultimately your OSL creating that environment amongst your group about, like this is your group's identity, right? Like if you're section 12, then, how do we create you to be like a really tight knit section 12 and what kind of connects you all there? So there's a couple in intentional team building stuff. And then I think there's a lot of unintentional, natural, organic things that just kind of happen as well. So yes.
Nice, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan asked, do you do adventure courses on your own, or is there more team building within that?
So going to the adventure courses with your group, and actually one other FYS group that you'd have, or transfers, partner up with a couple other transfer groups at a time. And you do that with people at the same time. So it is team building, but like everybody's going up at the same kind of time. So it's not like you're going to be like one off by yourself. When you're climbing the trees, there's probably going to be like 40 other people spread out across the entire facility also doing it, if that makes sense.
Nice. Stella asked, are there things for the commuter students to do while students who live on campus are setting up for their dorms?
Yeah, so specifically that time frame, we tell commuters that you don't need to be here until 11. So pretty much at 11 is when we kick off, and that is with the check-in process. So there's nothing like intentional for you all as commuters to need to do from that 9 to 11 time frame when they're moving in. And that's really because you don't need to be here yet. So go ahead and take the late arrival a little bit, come in closer to 11. You're welcome to come by and, meander around the campus, see different things. We don't have specific programming at that point, but you're welcome to be here. This is your new home too. Otherwise, during the week, everybody's on the same schedule. So if a resident student's supposed to be at something, so is a commuter student. But we definitely recognize different, like people may need to leave at different times. So hopefully that answers your question a little more.
Yeah. And to add on to that too, any of my commuter friends, because I was a commuter all 4 years in college, so I completely empathize with you there.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend you just check out the area, right? Especially for our out-of-staters or ones who are coming from a little further away. Or actually, no commuter would be out of state. Never mind, I take that back. But check out the area. Go to downtown Elmhurst. Really kind of venture out. Check out the library. Check out what the campus has to offer. Wilder Park is beautiful. The Elmhurst Public Library. I think the more you immerse yourself and familiarize yourself with the area, I highly recommend you do that, commuters.
Totally agree.
We have a lot of other questions coming in. Donald asked, will nutrition be provided during orientation? I love that question.
Yeah, if nutrition to you is general food, absolutely. So yes, regardless of your dietary restriction, we have plenty of things. And if we provide something that doesn't quite match with your specific dietary needs, you can always go to the cafeteria and we'll make sure that you are provided food. Otherwise, no, pretty much from lunch on Wednesday through dinner on Saturday, I have you covered for 3 meals. There's plenty of food. You will definitely be fed.
I love that. Rachel asked, will we have time to go back to our dorms during the 7:30 to 9:30 time, or are we basically out for the whole day?
You're pretty much out for the whole day, I would say. There are times where the OSLs will be like, hey, you know what, we can tell that you all need a break. They may need a break. So they may say, like, we're going to take an hour-long break and meet back here, maybe in an hour or so. I would plan that you're going to be out of your residence hall from that time frame, but know that there's plenty of times where the OSLs will just kind of be like, let's have a break and meet back up a little bit later. Otherwise, the most you're probably going to see yourself in your room through those 4 days is either after programming at the end or that Sunday.
Nice, nice. That's good to know.
Mhm.
Manpreet asked, what if we don't want to make it to the first day of orientation?
Yeah, so that happens. If you're not here on the first day of orientation, then we will still get you matched up with your group. We will still call you probably if you're not there the first day, just to kind of check in and see where you're at. Otherwise, if you have a really specific schedule and you know, like if you know, obviously like now that I will not be there on the 24th, send me an email so I can let your OSL know. Otherwise, then we will get you connected on Thursday with your OSL. So then you can hop in your group and know where they're at and then start participating in those activities. So it's not the most ideal to miss the first day, but it's definitely not impossible to continue coming later than too.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, I had a question. Are adult students typically, do they attend orientation?
Good question. Being honest, usually our clientele is probably more like the 18 to 22 range, but we absolutely invite any new student to come see it, especially like honestly, I would say like if you want to get connected to the college and the people you're going to be working with or going to school with, then attend. So we don't often see that, but that doesn't mean that that's not a space that they can come to because you're also a new student and have the access to all of these same things as well. So we would love to see you. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Justice asked, is the 28th necessary for commuters to arrive? And I guess you kind of already answered that question. It's okay if you miss a day and it's
Yeah.
not a requirement, but you can answer that a lot better.
Yeah. So the 27th and 28th, I'll point out, if you notice the 27th, there's only programming from 12 to 4. That was intentional that like we don't need another fourth packed day. We would love for people to come back on that Saturday still. We have a bunch of fun things planned, but Sunday specifically, I'm gonna be at home. So Sunday we put up there for information for you to know. So like these are the 3 meal times. That's when the honors program orientation is. And then there's always a religious service. So Sunday is not required at all. My programming out of my area ends on Saturday, but we always like for you to know what things are happening on Sunday. So we just kind of pull it all together as part of the orientation weekend. But no, if you don't have to come for the honors program or something else on Sunday, then you, as a commuter or even a resident, then you don't need to be here on Sunday.
Nice. That's good to know. I think the answer to this question is no, but I'll double check with you. Danielle asked, if we are a commuter, do we need a parking pass for orientation?
You won't need it for orientation.
Nice.
And if I'm correct, usually the first 2 weeks of school, public safety is usually, it's like a learning time frame for everybody.
Yes,
So
they're graceful about it.
if you haven't gotten an email yet, I believe the parking passes are getting emailed, like to purchase them or whatever else are getting emailed out. But you do not need one to park on campus during orientation. No.
I love that. Awesome. Next question. Nathan asked, do we need to bring money for anything, any of the days?
You don't need to bring money. If for some reason you're done with something and you're like, hey, I'd like to go, maybe you ask your OSL group if everybody can go check out Kimmer's downtown Elmhurst, that would be on your own, but otherwise you don't need, or maybe you're driving in, in the morning if you're a commuter and you'd really like a coffee, that's not going to be on me, unfortunately. So I will provide everything free of cost. If there's different things that you want outside of what we provided, that's the only time you'd need money, but you can go through this whole program without $1.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
Right. And then I think Kikalomo, you asked August 24th, what time? So, if you take a look at the screen that Sam is sharing, you'll see all the different timestamps and what's going on. So hopefully if you guys want, take a picture of it, and I'm sure it's already in your emails as well. So highly suggest you save it, take a screenshot on your phone, print out a physical copy, put it on the refrigerator so your parents and you can see it. So that way it's a lot easier.
Totally.
And then we'll kind of wrap it up in the next 5 minutes. So if anybody wants to add last bit questions, we'll try to wrap it up in a bit, but we do have another question from Justice. Could we bring friends that don't go to the school, or would they have to leave? Would they have to leave the same time as families?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I would say that if you want to bring friends, or honestly, like your cheer squad, your support group, however you call them, right? They're welcome to come up until the same time the families have to leave at 2:45. So if they want to come to kind of help you move in or help you check in and come to the family welcome, have the welcome lunch, they're more than welcome to come do that. But when the families leave after that family reception is the same time I would tell those individual students to leave as well. And that's only because like our program is really geared towards students that are going to be here in the fall. And so we want to make sure that we are providing for those students first and foremost. But if they would like to come from anytime between 9 and 2:45 on Wednesday, August 24th, they're more than welcome to.
Nice. Emily asked, how far is the ziplining location from the campus? Pretty close, right?
It is pretty close. It's actually kind of funny because we found this maybe like 5 years ago now, and we didn't realize it was pretty much in our backyard. So it's Go Ape Adventure Course. It's in Western Springs. We provide a bus that comes from Elmhurst there and takes you back. And so for any of those activities, we do require you to use our transportation, not meet us there in your own car. But just for you to know for your own knowledge, it's only over in Western Springs, which is literally like a 15-20 minute drive.
Yeah, nice. I love that. So close by. I had another student ask, and I believe this is correct. They asked, so if you know you're not part of the honors program or taking an honors class, we don't need to attend on Sunday.
Correct. Yep. You would have already also gotten information from Dr. Mary Kay Mulvaney, most likely, about the honors program orientation. So like if you were supposed to go to that, you probably already know that that's on your calendar. Otherwise, no, if none of that stuff applies to you, especially if you're a commuter, I encourage you to eat at home or wherever else, or you're welcome to come to campus. The your J passes and meal plans start on Sunday. So my free meals end unfortunately Saturday night. But no, you don't need to come in on Sunday.
Nice. Awesome. So those are all the questions that I see. Great job, guys. These are really
good questions. Yeah.
These are really good questions. And thank you to Sam for answering all of these questions. And I hope if you weren't excited for orientation before, I'm sure you're excited now because there's just so much for you to do, so much for your loved ones to do as well. And I'm telling you exactly what Sam said. Really lean on your orientation leaders because those are going to be your best friends that week. They are so well trained to help you throughout this process to make it less scary, less overwhelming, and fun, right?
Yeah.
Go into this have a mindset as an open, or go into this with an open mindset.
There you go.
Have a good time, so you'll really enjoy it. But yeah. I just want to thank you again, Sam, for your time and for meeting with all of our students today. And thank you to my wonderful students and guests and parents and guardians for supporting this awesome webinar this summer. I hope you found all these webinar series very helpful in your next step process. Good luck with everything. Best of luck. And we cannot wait to see you for orientation time. So thanks you again, everybody. Everyone. Bye.
Bye.